Hi all. So coming to blood pressure series 2. So today I would like to discuss about what are the risk factors for blood pressure or hypertension and what can we do about them, right? And family history certainly plays a large role in determining whether you will develop hypertension or not. But I prefer to think of it merely as a warning. If the gate goes down and the lights goes on at a railway crossing, you have got a pretty good idea that the train is on its way, correct? A wise person would never put himself or herself in harm's way by trying to race a car across the tracks, correct? We don't tempt fate by indulging in reckless behavior. Just because your grandfather had hypertension and died from a stroke doesn't mean that you can't take steps to avoid repeating that history. Race definitely comes into play. High blood pressure is far more common in blacks than in any other racial group, and it hits at an earlier age. But we know that African Americans are far more sodium sensitive than whites are at the same time, they have diets that are high in sodium, doubling the problem. And whatever the race might be, if our diet consists of high salt, nobody can save us from this disaster. And the solution always seems pretty obvious. Similarly, obesity and diabetes are more prevalent among Asians, right? And rather than uh, thinking about the race, let's take appropriate action and work towards it. High blood pressure is more common in young and middle-aged men than in women of similar ages. In those age 60 and older, however, it is more common in women. So blood pressure testing, a simple and painless way to know if we are at risk, is available to everyone regardless of sex. You can certainly take control of other risk factors involved in the gradual progression of elevated blood pressure and subsequent hypertension. And obesity plays a big part. The greater your body mass, the more blood is needed to supply oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and other tissues. And obesity also increases the number and length of blood vessels, thereby increasing the resistance of blood that has to travel longer distances through those vessels. Increased resistance like this results in higher blood pressure. And fat cells themselves manufacture substances that adversely affect both heart and the blood vessels. Along with that, sedentary behavior boosts your risk of by deconditioning the heart muscle just as much as it does other muscles in the body. Couch potatoes, that is sitting for a long time without moving, tend to have a higher heart rates because their heart muscles aren't as efficient and have to work harder to pump blood. Moreover, physical activity is a vasodilator. That is to say exercise of any sort dilates blood vessels. Any sort of exercise, walking, jumping, aerobics, yoga, any sort of exercise acts as a vasodilator to our blood vessels. Combining inactivity with being overweight multiplies the problem. Already, if we are inactive and already we are overweight, along with that, family history is there. It triples the chances of getting, uh, problems related to hypertension. And another most important thing where we can control is sodium and salt intake. And it always remains controversial risk factor, but it is a risk factor for hypertension. Well, it's true that some individuals are particularly sensitive to sodium, whether from the salt shaker or from sodium based ingredients in processed foods, fat foods. Not everyone responds to sodium equally. As well, sodium is but one of the many minerals or electrolytes that affects blood pressure. Increasing your intake of others may be as important or more important than decreasing your sodium intake, other than for people who are proven to be sodium sensitive. And another most important factor here is try to reduce the sodium content and increase using more of herbs like roseberries, what do you call it? Rosemary herbs are there, basil herbs are there, thyme herbs are there. They have natural salts in them which will give you salt-like taste to your food. So try to use more of herbs, more of coriander, more of mint or pudina leaves in whatever we prepare, so that natural salts, use of natural salt reduces the need of sodium salt. And pink Himalayan salt can also be used because pink Himalayan salt contains 80 different minerals along with sodium. So your sodium intake might decrease to a large extent. And another important factor here is alcohol. Alcohol definitely affects blood pressure, but this is a gray zone. Excessive alcohol consumption can raise blood pressure, whereas moderate drinking may actually help to keep it under control. Moderate means it's really moderate. It is either once in 15 days or once in a month. That is called moderate. So another, the most important factor which hardly we have control is stress. Stress is another highly controversial subject in the medical research community. Although doctors in clinical practice regularly see the effects of stress in their patients, stress boosts the production of harmful substances, which increases the heart rate and blood requirements and can over time raise blood pressure and participate a heart attack and precipitate a heart attack or a stroke. Okay, again, there are many effective proven methods to help you cope up with stress. One of the best stress buster is ashwagandha. Anybody who is working 8 hours, 10 hours a day, there are 100% chances that they are going through a lot of stress, and stress means increasing the hormones called cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone which increases the stress levels in our body, and this cortisol can be one of the biggest reason for heart attacks or stroke. So how easily we can reduce this cortisol hormone in our body is by taking ashwagandha supplement. Ashwagandha is being used by more than 5,000 years by our sages to combat various health disorders, increasing immunity, taking care of diabetes, decreasing the heart rate, decreasing the stress hormones, decreasing toxins from our body, take care of our cholesterol levels. One small tablet can have a multiple benefits. Don't go for roots or powdered form, because you need to take exactly a certain amount of ashwagandha on a daily basis. You can't exceed or lower than that. Cannot help much. Along with that, omega 3 from salmon fish, the oil, omega oil extracted from the fins of the fishes, not from the liver. Cod liver oils hardly affect the properties of blood pressure. The, salmon oil, fish omega 3 oil extracted from fishes, fins of the salmon fishes are most important. So along with that, another third important ingredient is antioxidants. Antioxidants help reactivate our blood vessels, reactivate our cells. At the cellular level, they start working. Antioxidants like quercetin, ellagic acid, lycopene, or if everything can't be taken care on a daily basis, we can also add some organic. Organic means extracted from organic fruits and vegetables, zero preservatives, zero artificial colors, flavors, raising agents. It should not contain anything artificial. Any supplement which has been written a word called artificial on it, that means it is not safe for you. So make sure we to use organic supplements, so that we don't end up in taking tablets which can, we can't live for rest of our life. So that is very important. So make sure take an antioxidant supplement to combat the free radical damage, supplement to reduce the cortisol, which is very very important. Just by spending 5 or 6 rupees a day, you can reduce the cortisol hormone. How good it is, right? And omega 3 supplement, which reduces cholesterol. So cholesterol is one of the major reason for increase in the blood pressure. Okay, so omega 3 oil reduces the cholesterol in the body, and it is anti-inflammatory also. Just by spending around 30-40 rupees a day, you can prevent heart attack and strokes. So along with that, one of the another important herb or the plant what is required is arugula or rocket lettuce, we can say. That is very important. It has a lot of nitric oxide in them, which can dilate the blood vessels. So nitric oxides are very important. Another important food which has a lot of nitric oxide is beetroot juice, at least weekly, twice on a very regular basis is very important. With our community, we have a lot of recipes and solutions available to combat blood pressure, and people who are at risk have to be on these 5 changes they have to do. First one is reduce your stress level with your ashwagandha, and the second thing is increase your omega 3 intake, And the third thing is take an antioxidant supplement, or try to include 4 to 5 colors of fruits and vegetables every day. And the fourth thing is your arugula or beets, which has high nitric oxide in them. And the fifth thing is reduce your salt intake. Change the salt and reduce your salt intake. Anytime you try to add salt in your cooking, while you are cooking, try to reduce little and then add. So by this slowly little, even a 10 mg reduction of salt every day, reduce 10 mg of salt in your diet, you can reap a lot of benefits in the future. Thank you so much. Hope it helps. So we'll connect back in the next session again.